Dollar Tree readers, man. I thought they were 1.00, but I think they're 1.25. So when I ordered myself glasses online, just to get better looking I think I don't think I bought ones that are strong enough. So I'm gonna have to get some 1.25s. I don't know. Anyway, look. I just watched this Robert Zephyr video, Atlantean Gardens, about energy healing and that scientists big studied this, like had an experiment, because they're like, no, 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 it's fake, it's this, that, and the other. I'll put the link below. I, about 10 years ago, went to a Reiki introductory class, and because I'd been told by several people, you got the gift, man, you need to do it, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, I mean, I was interested in it because I had gone to an energy healer out of absolute desperation, and I know that this person is completely evil, and I had a good experience like the first 3 times because this person had to gain my trust. And then once he had that, then he began to manipulate me all kinds of different ways in my energy and my spirit. And I believe this firmly because another friend of mine got involved with this, got the same thing. And I just really believe that this person assisted in the chaos, to increase the chaos that was in our lives and in our families at that time. Everybody's, oh, you just want to blame somebody else. I'm just saying he assisted the chaos. So anyway, eventually we wound up getting away from it all. But at the time, I went up the street, and it was a Sunday morning, and it was a couple of hours, like 3-hour class. It was $100. I think it was about 3 teachers. I went in, and I volunteered to have my energy, read, so that the guy could demonstrate to the other people that taken the class, what it looked like and what that, etc. So he says, I'm laying on my back. He says, I'm not going to touch you. I will not touch you ever. My hands will always, so, you can close your eyes and just be able to relax. And so I closed my eyes. And somewhere along the line, I felt his hand, his entire hand, laying flat on my chest. I felt it. 100%, every bit of his hand laying on my chest. So I opened my eyes, and his hand was about 5 or 6 inches above my body. And he looked into my eyes, and he was evil. And he said something along the lines of, see, like, I'm so frickin' great, and one day, if you practice hard enough, you'll be able to do this too. It was just incredibly eerie and evil feeling, and I thought, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, I'm not here because I believe every single solitary thing these people are saying about Reiki. I'm just here because I know that there's something to it. And I know that my intentions are not evil, and if I want to help somebody, I would like to have like a kind of overview of what these people are doing. So anyway, so we get done with that demonstration, and then they say, okay, after a while, they're like, they've taught us this, that, and the other. They put a guy up on the table and said, okay, hey, we got to volunteer to scan this guy's body and see, and I volunteered. So I said, okay, let me scan this guy's body with my hands. Well, I was able to detect, unless they were lying, which I don't think they were. But of course, this whole thing could have been a total and complete bullshit, but I don't think it was, because I felt it. With my hands, I went over this guy's body a little bit at a time, with my hands a couple inches over his body, and I detected something wrong with his knee, one of his knees, and then I got up to his genital area, and I was embarrassed to say, I didn't want to call this guy out and say, there's something wrong with your, but I had, and I paused, and the lady's like, what, and I said, I feel it, there's something wrong here, and the guy said, oh, my prostate had been removed. I felt a cold breeze blowing under the palm of my hand. It's like when you feel like a wind crack coming through the walls of the outside in the winter or something near a window, and you're very, very subtle. So it is what it is, and that's all I got to say about that. That's all I know. I don't know anything about it. I've done a little bit of scanning on some friends and a little bit of work. One time a friend said, hey, can you come work on my daughter's ear? I said, look, I've been drinking. She's like, don't worry about it. That's not going to matter. And I was like, okay. So I went. And what they didn't tell me in Reiki class was that you get feedback from the person, like thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas in your mind. It was quite unbelievable, really. I have a friend who is actually like, not exactly a hermaphrodite, but was born with, as it turns out, she and I found out later on down the road, it was ambiguous genitalia because she didn't know what she was. She was like, I'm a neither nor, I'm a neither nor. And their parent, anyway, John Hopkins, when she was 2 years old, her father finally admitted, yeah, I took you to John Hopkins and they finally did something to you. And she was just like, whoa, what? Anyway, long story short, I had her up on the table. I'm scanning her. And I felt that her legs were the legs of a man. It was just very odd because this person identified, I mean, it was assigned female after they lopped off whatever they thought was. Anyway, long story short, I got up to her head and I felt that her head, I could feel, even though her head wasn't moving, I could feel her head moving in like a circular motion on her neck, like her head wasn't attached to her body. And well, I mean, we later laughed about it. And she says, it's not like, I don't know who I am, just very interesting things. And then I one time scanned my son's father, and he was lying, and I had a witness, which was what we used to call him Cripple Brian. It was a friend of mine that had a bad disease, a crippling disease. But anyway, he was sitting there watching. And I was scanning my son's dad's body, and I got to his bowels, which I knew they were messed up, and it just felt like a hurricane under my hands. I was like, God, this guy's bowels are messed up. But I got to his head, which is like the crown chakra, and I placed my hands on his head, and I went from laughing hysterically to crying, sobbing, and laughing, switching back and forth a few times till I finally pulled my hands off his head and said, I can't do this. And Cripple Brian sitting on the couch like, holy shit, dudes. He was just like, wow. And I said, what I saw and what I felt when I was on your crown chakra was the joy, the laughter was, I said, I really feel that it was the Creator's view of you. Like a delightful son that he delighted over and brought him laughter and joy. And then the sobbing, crying, deep, wretched, awful feeling that I was flipping back and forth, I said, Rob, that's you. You feel inadequate in the eyes of God. This is what, now, am I right or wrong? I don't know. That's what I felt. And I was just like, this is entirely too much for me. I can't handle it. Then another time I had my son up on the table and I just felt like I was just placing my hands on him and just trying to send love in. I would say while I was doing this I would be praying. I would be saying, please, God, use my energy to direct my energy through this person to help them heal. It was more. It wasn't standard Reiki. Like, I don't even know what they're thinking spiritually. I was combining my spiritual beliefs with what was obviously energetically real in front of me. I was watching it happen. But no, I know what I was doing. I was using this was years ago, so it's hard for me to remember. I was using the tuning forks. I have these body tuning forks, and I had different organs. Got to look it up so you know what I'm talking about. So I'm doing these tuning forks on my son. He's laying on this massage table. He falls asleep while I'm doing it, which is highly unusual for him. He never slept during the day unless he was incredibly ill. And he had great difficulty sleeping, even as a child. So here I'm trying to do anything to help us. So I'm doing these tuning forks. And I do all these different ones, and I, hovering them over his body, striking them on the thing, bzzz, and he falls asleep. So I get to the brain one, I get to his head, because I started at his feet. I tap the brain one, and I put it near his head, and he said, it's these kinds of experiences that make me know I'm into something real, but I don't have the experience in any way to know what I'm doing. So I stopped. But unless we had an injury, like Lenny cut the tip of his finger off, when he used the nerve and the bone tuning fork, in addition to colloidal silver and colloidal silver gel, he kept the wound open long enough that his fingertip grew back almost all the way until the doctor checked it and it cauterized it without telling him. I should have ripped that scab off and said, no, the wound needs to stay open to continue growing. But almost all of his fingertip grew back because he had a little bit of nail bed left. That's what they claim. You can't grow your finger back unless there's the stem cells in the nail bed or something. I don't know. But we've had a lot of interesting healing experiences here at my house, and experience, or lack of healing, I should say. Evil people use these methods to manipulate you and your energy, and you need to be extremely careful when dealing with this. And I swore off of it years ago. I think I think I burned my Reiki certificate because I was so convinced after us dealing with the super evil dude down the road that this was evil and I should just stay away from it. And what I really realize now is evil people are using it, but the modality itself is not actually evil. So I try not to talk this long. I don't want to ever bore people. I love all my handful of folk out there, and wish you all the best all the time. And I enjoy listening to your thoughts as well, very much. And you give me a lot of hope, and you give me laughs, and just a sense of just a sense of stability, because you're always there. But one day they're going to knock the internet out, and it's all going to be over. But thanks for everything that you provide for me, your friendship, and your camaraderie. Thanks, everyone.